I've been seeing 3's for like the past week. It's been crazy how many 3's I've seen. And so my mom, she recently gave me this necklace. It was like an amethyst necklace, like with a big crystal on it. I don't have it on right now, but when she gave it to me, she told me like it belonged to my uncle who passed away about maybe like 20 years ago. And so it's interesting because he was born on March 3rd. So, and he was the third son. So anytime my mom sees 3's, like 3 in a row, she's always like, oh, that's Uncle Mark, right? So she gives me this necklace, and all of a sudden I start seeing the 3's too. So I'm like, dang, that's crazy. And maybe it's just because she had brought it up, I'm not sure. But literally it was like in the weirdest way. So I was like, I'm gonna give you a couple examples. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking about immortality and like the lifespan of the body and how to elongate life, and if in the future that there will be things that, you know, possibly could expand our life to a certain age. And he was like, yeah, you know, I'm trying to live till I'm 333 years old. And I was like, why you pick that number? You know what I'm saying? He was like, because I like 3's. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You know, but in my mind I'm like, all right. And then I'm talking to someone else, and they was talking about how they rented a boat. And they were like, yeah, you know, we got a bunch of people on the boat. We rented a boat. You know, I was like, oh, that's cool. You know, did it end up being kind of expensive? He was like, no, it was $333 per person. And I'm like, what? Okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like, all right, here we go again. And then I'm seeing it on the clocks. And then we driving yesterday, and there's a fucking billboard up that has 333, and it says the language of love underneath it. And I'm like, what in the hell? And then I'm listening to this dude preach who I love. His name's Chiron. He's a channeler. And then he was talking about the energy of 3. And he was like, yeah, you know, if you see in 3's that you're gonna have access to the ability to manipulate energy without having your own energy manipulated. And so I was like, okay, that's interesting too. But I already believe that regardless if you see 3's, because of the power of the human being. And if we're conscious of what we hold, automatically our presence is going to shift energy. You know what I'm saying? So, and one of my favorite quotes is, there is no darkness. There's only the absence of light, right? And so the conscious mind, the awareness of the light that you bring, when you come into a room, there can be no darkness when the light is present, right? So where is the darkness? You know what I mean? It doesn't exist. Anyway, but after seeing all those 3, it like everything been like super synchronistic lately. Like, and it's just, I was like, whoa, like that's crazy, you know? And then yesterday, I know like I just sometimes ramble and like just kind of unload thought processes. But I was thinking of a story that someone had given me a long time ago about eagles and chickens. I know this is kind of weird, but so I always wonder, like, why would they call people a chicken? You know, like, why does that mean that you're like scared when you're a chicken, right? So when he told me this story, I was like, oh, okay, maybe that's why. And so the story goes that there was an eagle who had 2 eggs in the nest, and when one egg was being born, it knocked the other egg out of the nest, and the egg rolled down the mountain and it landed up on a farm. So a mother hen saw that the egg was abandoned. She took it in, she raised it as her own. But now you have an eagle being raised amongst chickens, right? And when he's little, he knows no better. But then he starts to realize that he's a lot bigger than everybody. And he keep asking, like, why I'm so much bigger than y'all? They're like, bro, you just a big chicken, man. Chill out. You just a big chicken. Then one day, he catch sight of another eagle flying. He like, damn, hey, why don't we fly? Why don't we do that? We got wings too. The chickens is like, nah, bro, you can't fly. You're a chicken. You a chicken, bro. Chill out. He like, yeah, but isn't it kind of weird? How come they fly and we don't? So they steady convincing him, like, man, you tripping. So one day he goes to the pond. He gets to see his reflection for the first time. And he's like, hold up. Man, I'm looking a lot like that thing that was flying the other day. So, end of the story. My guy jumps off a bridge and he flies. Right? He gone from the chickens. He like, man, but it took him that long to realize, and that's just the craziness of the story. Is like, how many of us is surrounded by chickens? Real talk. How many of us have a group of people around us who are telling us we can't fly? You know what I mean? Who are not promoting the greatest aspects of our being, who are not accepting the full truth of divinity. How many? Because I know that it's like, especially when we owe souls, especially when we become conscious, especially when we decide to take that journey, especially when we surrender, that there's a lot of people around us questioning because they never seen it before. But imagine if you never seen a bird fly and you got wings. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be like, hold up, wait a minute. You know? And I don't know that everybody will evolve to the point where they fly. You know what I'm saying? That's not me to be able to judge that. And sometimes I feel like, man, in this lifetime, are we all meant to reach those levels? I'm not sure, because we all on different levels. But for those of us who are really taking the path seriously, who wear it like a badge, you know what I mean? Like a cloak of armor. Like, yo, this is my job, this is my duty, this is my purpose, this is who I am. And in order for me to be in full expression, I must display these qualities. I must embody these qualities. Because that's my purpose, because that's my job. So that the culture can change. Because I've talked about that before. I know that there's nothing that can come out of my mouth that can really shift anything. You know? But I do know what shifts everything is the way that I embody it, the way that I act, the way that I react. You know what I'm saying? With certain situations, because it's real easy to be in a positive note, in a positive spirit all the time when we just chilling by ourselves and we're not met with adversity. We're not met with other relationships that cause to bring things up, you know? And that was part of the when I took my road trip. I didn't do any lives, and I didn't even smoke as much weed as I thought I was gonna smoke. I was really in my head like, it's crazy because all of the boundaries that got released, and it's like, life is such a trip to me, and it's so beautiful because what we think we know, we have no clue. You don't even know what's going to be brought up sometimes, and that's the most beautiful part about it. It's like, I wasn't able to even see my own boundaries until the time was right, where I could, okay, this is a tangled up knot. Let me see if I can untangle this. Let me see if my mind can be broadened and opened to a point where what I'm really here to do is understand and transmute unconditional love. And there's so many layers to that I get that chance to do that my whole life, you know? And that on the road trip, I was just thinking like, wow, like, you know, surrounding love, surrounding relationship and everything that, like, you know, we get scared when we fall in love, or that we feel like we fall in love, or if we have a crush on somebody because of all of the things in the past. But like, I got a clear definition in my head the other day that was like, if it ain't free, if the love ain't free, you can't have it. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense, because real talk, like, there can't be no boundaries and walls on love. You know what I'm saying? You can't have expectations, because what's for you is for you. Whatever experiences your soul is supposed to have, it will have. And if you're supposed to be with somebody, you're going to be with them. And forever, the duration is not even in your hands either. And so you can't be playing movies from the past, you know what I mean? Or trying to create one in the future, when everything that can ever be created can only be created in the moment. You got the hands of right now. That's all you got to work with. And these materials that are in your lap, yeah, those are your building blocks. Those are the things that you can move. You know, we like to dream, and we like to see, and we like to envision, and yeah, that's all part of the process. But if we spend too much time over there, then we're not actually available for God to use us where we're at right now. Because God is here right now in the moment. That's when it talk to you. It don't talk in the future. It don't talk in the past. It talk right now. So what are we handling? What baggage are we unpacking here? You know? It's like, I don't know. It just feels good to release, and it also feels good to gain, and it feels good to start walking into what I would consider a springtime bloom, because all of the seasons of life that we go through, and to you know what the winter actually does. You know how beautiful the winter is? The fall sets the winter up so cold. Like, you would know that, man, the design of everything, come on. The fall gets rid of the leaves, and the leaves protect the ground for when it snows, so that the trees can stay warm enough to survive. You know? And then when the spring comes around, all of that turns to compost and fertilizes the ground, which fertilizes the tree, so that it can bloom and in the summer bear fruit. And how metaphoric is that for our life too, right? And so, yeah, like, I definitely enjoy the bloom, but I knew that I had to release the leaves so that I could survive the winter. I knew that I had to release the concepts of my mind in order to protect myself during the darkness. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't hold on to nothing. You got to let it go. And once you do it, the more that you do it, the easier that it becomes. Because the first time ain't easy. The first time letting go ain't easy. Because you cling to it because it's your identity. And what does identity give us? It gives us comfort, right? But we really have lost our identity as people because we don't have a collective identity. You know what I'm saying? It's each his own. It's each one for himself. And so the journey is part of learning the collective, learning the truth, that whatever I am in my truth is what you are in your truth, and that we really are a unit, moving as a unit, a one body. Just like the earth is one body, we're part of the one body, part of the galaxy, part of the universe. It's all all the same thing. And it's like, you know, so to lose, which really isn't, you don't really lose nothing in life. We really don't. Everything is recycled. That's really a beautiful thing about life, is the recycling process. But to be able to let go, so that you can cover yourself during the winter, so that you can bloom in the spring, so that you can bear fruit in the summer. And what is the fruit, right? Because the bloom, when we bloom, it's like the ideas that we've gained, everything that we left, now we're going to gain something new, something better to replace it, right? And in doing so, when we're replacing our old thought patterns, and because we're really adjusting our perspectives. I mean, all in all, everything is a perspective. And when we start to align our perspective with the truth, right, then the fruit that we bear is in our actions. It becomes our wisdom. It's like, now this is something that is embedded in you and you don't got to think about it. And that's why I said it gets easier with the more that we release. Then when we do embody the truth concepts, when kindness and forgiveness and love and joy come into our life, and that we can not react to all of the situations in our life that are causing, you know, adversity, when we can just sit and observe and look at everything like, wow, I'm right here right now because I'm here to assist this environment. That's how special I am right now. And that God put me in this environment so that I could assist this environment. God put me in these people's lives so I could assist them, right? And in doing so, I'm assisting myself, because now I'm using my knowledge and turning it into wisdom so that I may embody the highest of the truths, you know? And I don't know, it's not the easiest thing to do, of course, but why would it be? You know what I'm saying? When the polarity of, when everything that exists in this world has to have an opposite. It has to have a polarity in order to exist. So of course, the scale is going to have to balance. You know, of course, there's always going to be a little bit of this with a little bit of that. But in navigating that and knowing that it's all the one, you know, that, okay, even if the dark and the light, or the negative and the positive, or the up and the down, or the, you know, the black and the white, whatever it is, that it's all really on the same scale. It's all really the same thing. That we can navigate it that way, you know, and that's where that comes in. But yeah, I don't know, that's what I got from the road trip, man. It was really, really beautiful, really good. I felt like I was kind of high when I went to the desert, because we went to this, it's called a gypsum sand desert, and the gypsum sand, I guess they had like this thing that said that like we eat like 28 pounds of that shit every year. Like if you eat, it's like in bread, and they make plaster with it. Like it's kind of weird to me. I'm like, well, why would it be in the bread? But you know, regardless. It's like a selenite crystal, like ground up finely. But when I stepped on it, it literally, if anybody's ever done psychedelics before, it felt like I was on a psychedelic being in that sand desert. Like I was so elated and high. I was like, yo, like what the fuck is this? I mean, the charge is crazy. And so to be sensitive enough to go into those places and feel that's amazing. Like I've been on there's an island in Thailand called Kopangan, and the whole island is crystal quartz, the sand, everything. And so they use it as like a healing island. So people go there to heal, they go there to detox, they go there to do yoga, meditate. But what's crazy about it is that, like the polarities, right? The island's also known for like the biggest party in all of Asia. It's called the full moon party. And every full moon they get together and they just throw this big outdoor party. And it's drugs and, you know, alcohol and all that flowing. So it's like the energies are being amplified no matter which way you choose. It just was very interesting to me to see all of that. And then to have to go to the desert in New Mexico and feel the charge of the earth. And it's like there's special places in the earth where we really do recharge. I actually was talking to somebody on Instagram. They had went to Egypt, and they were telling me about their experiences on the pyramid and standing in certain locations by the pyramids and the downloads and the charges that they got. And so that's how we know we are connected with the earth. We literally vibrate at the same vibration that the earth does. So when the earth gets an upgrade, guess what happens to us? We do too. And that's why we see a lot of purging going on right now with human beings. That's why a lot of people are being attracted to a lighter diet, to heal the body in a sense. But really what's happening is the earth is doing it. So now we have to do it too because we're that connected. And there are things that disconnect us from that natural vibration of the earth. Just like all the animals and plants. People want to say, like, why are the bees dying? The bees are only dying because there's so much EMF radio transmission in the air, they can't navigate because they're so connected with the earth's vibration that if they can't feel it, they don't know where the fuck home is. Their homing devices is off. So if you think a creature that small can get that affected, where now they can become endangered, where there's a threat on their life, like that's crazy that we don't think that has anything to do with us. And me right now driving on this freeway, this shit is freewayed out, and you see the 5G towers covered with the fake trees. You know, like what's it really doing to us? We don't know. We haven't experimented yet. We haven't been in it long enough to see any effects. But what I do know is the adaptability of the human body is beyond anything we can fathom, because it's all controlled by perception. So even within detoxing, it's like you got to go through that barrier of knowing what's right and what's wrong for your body in order to change the perspective, and then life becomes more of a game. Because if my perception changes on what I'm eating, what I'm feeding myself, and how I'm actually treating the things that I consume, then I'm gonna have a lot more ability to resist anything negative, because I understand. It's like, if my perception is that I'm hungry and I want something that I know don't have no nutrients in it, right? Well, right then and there, I've already dubbed the meal nutrient deficient in my mind. So how do I change that, right? Then that's where prayer comes in. Okay, I know whatever this is that I'm craving right now is going to be able to feed and nourish my body on the highest level, because now I can adapt, right? My body will adapt because my mind has adapted, because perception is everything. Remember, that's what we're healing here. We're healing the perception, but we have to go through the physical a lot of the times to do so, which is the physical body, which is nurturing it with the vibration of the things that come off the trees and come off the earth, because those are the things that are going to set us back on the vibration of the earth, right? And then we can start dealing with our perception, because we're not vibrating lower than the earth. We're not in turmoil, because that's what happens when our vibration gets low. The negative emotions that are associated with lower vibrations become present, and they're harder to fight, right? And we don't want to fight them necessarily. We want to embody them because they are us and they are a part of us. We want to accept it. We want non-judgment as an end result. But in order to do so, the assistance comes from what the earth provides. And that's what's so beautiful. Oh, it's so beautiful, right? Everything that you could ever need to heal anything is grown in the earth. And what God did to make it so crazy, this is the craziest thing. The weeds, right? The weeds. What is a weed? A weed could grow anywhere, right? A weed could come out the concrete. But the weeds is the herbs. You know what I'm saying? Herbs grow in all kind of locations. And they don't even need the tender love and care that vegetables need. You know what I'm saying? I grew thyme, rosemary, sage in Reno in the desert at 5,000 feet above sea level. You know what I'm saying? And literally no water. I used to live there. I haven't been there in like 2 years, and I went, well, a year. And I went like not too long ago. And those herbs, they had taken over the garden. And who's watering them? Nobody even lives in that crib like that. But yet here they are growing out of dirt that doesn't have any moisture. And so look at the design of the earth. Like, hold up, you're sick and you need something that can grow abundantly anywhere to heal you? Man, this shit is all for us right here. Everything's on our side. Are you kidding me? It's a cheerleader. It's amazing. It's just like, man, come on, man. Come on. The rose out the concrete, okay? If you don't know that you can really do anything you want to do, if you just sit back and listen and open yourself up to the idea of who you might be, who you are, an infinite, timeless, boundless being within the physical body, and this is what you get to play with. And you can use your intuition to heal it when you connect to it. I know I'm out my mind, but I done hit my head a few times. And it was probably the greatest thing that ever happened to me. You know what I mean? All right, I'm trying to read medicine, make sure. Oh yeah, I'm gonna save it. I learned how to save my videos now, right? So I'm in the game now. I never knew before. I was like, I thought the live just went away. Yeah, they are, right? The plants are electric. That's what I was saying earlier. They are. It's so beautiful. It's like, man, come on. We electricity, they electricity, and when we trying to get on that right vibe, we can. You know? Oh, and hold up. So I was thinking the other day too, like what love gives us. Like when you feel love or attraction or elated emotion, like it's just like, to me, it's like doing a psychedelic in a sense, because like when you do a psychedelic, you reach certain levels of consciousness that you're not normally in. Terrence McKenna said it the best. He said it allows you to look into the window of the house that you would like to be in, but it don't give you the key. So the key is in the real world, right? So what we're achieving is these elated emotions that we know actually can be produced without the substance. And love does the same thing to us, right? It allows us to release these chemical hormones that allow us to experience elevated emotions. But what happens to us when we fall in love is our expectations take us all the way back down, because we're like, dang, how do I hold on to this feeling? You know what I'm saying? Without you. But it ain't about the other person. That other person literally came in and gave you a gift. They said, you can have this. This is part of your being without me. Because if you can reach it, even though you think it's me that gave it to you, it's really not. This is actually a part of your being. This is something that you can do by yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can achieve this alone if you can release the expectation, the boundaries, the walls, and all the preconceived notions that you've had surrounding what love is supposed to be and how it's supposed to form and what it will turn into. Because you're right here, right now. So what a gift is that? Man, come Positive Patty over here. Hold up. It must be the robe. You know? I've been wearing robes. In my journal, I write in a journal all the time. I don't play around about my journal. I write poetry. I write gratitude. I write anything that comes to my mind. And I've been writing for years, like I just want to live in robes. Like I'm going to get a cold robe collection and just be in a fly ass robe all the time. And I was thinking today, like, I got like 5 fly robes right now, and I just stay rotating them. And when I wear them, I be feeling like I'm floating, and it's like a Superman cape. I was like, cause if I can't come dressed like this, I'm not coming. Hold up, don't tell me to put on no high heels. I got a robe on. I'm allowed. Mystical woman, why not? I want to look like I'm going to Coachella all the time, and I ain't never even been. I said, hold up, man, we gotta have more fun with this dress game. Hold on, man, got to get fly on them. Okay, well, let me get off this phone and enjoy some of this music, get my dance on, my boogie on before I gotta go pull up to work today. All right, I love everybody. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.